Hi, I'm Mark Beck.
And I'm Stephanie Thompson.
And I'm Megan Solis. We're coming to you from Sunset Plaza here in Kalispell, Montana.
And this is Selling Montana, a podcast about business, real estate, and entrepreneurship. And we have an amazing guest here, literally Montana royalty, Mady Rigg.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm so excited to be
Thank
here.
you for coming.
Yeah,
Can I hit the
of course.
button?
Oh, yeah.
Do it.
Applause.
Do you have to ask?
That's very fun.
I think we might have forgotten about the buttons. So.
Yeah.
I love the
Totally.
buttons.
There's some good
Yeah,
ones.
It's good. Well, I'm excited to see what other buttons you pull out for the rest
Oh, you know,
of
like
the
it.
chat. Yeah. I can't read your handwriting, so it'll be a fun surprise.
It's all right. It's all right. I got it. I promise. You are back from probably the most incredible thing you've done in your life, right? Like
yeah,
how many?
it's definitely up there. It is up there. Yeah, I got back from Miss USA on October 1st, and yeah.
Where was the final event? Where?
Yeah, so the final event this year was in Reno, Nevada at the Grand Sierra Resort. We had a great time in Nevada, and we got to spend a little bit of time up in Lake Tahoe, which was definitely like my favorite part of the trip, and maybe the 4 hours that we were outside of the hotel in air conditioning the whole time we were down there. But yeah, it was awesome. It was really
You didn't
cool.
know till last minute when it was going to be, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the way that it works in this little crazy world is that there's a lot of negotiations and big surprises that they put into the pageant world, and so they keep it all pretty under wraps. It's pretty typical to get your notice of where your nationals and when it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks in advance.
Wow.
So you're kind of just, as soon as you get crowned, you're pretty much preparing and knowing that it could happen basically any time. We knew when the last of the pageants were going to be held, which was Miss New York USA. It was I think the first week of August or something. So we knew it had to be after that, but so we had kind of a window, and we knew when when Miss Universe would be, and we knew we had to have a Miss USA crown for Miss Universe. So we had kind of
It'd be in
A
between
2-month
those.
window
we had
or
a 2-month
yeah.
window,
Yeah.
but I didn't know exactly until
Crazy.
yeah.
It is every year, right?
It is every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Every girl grows up watching.
Yes.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
Did
I
you?
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, it was really cool this year. I mean, it was kind of too bad in Montana, but it was the first year we were back on the national TV broadcast world. It had been 10 years since we had been live, and Katie Latimer, also a Kalispell gal,
Yeah.
was the last of the broadcasted.
That's
Really?
crazy.
And they
She
do that
was-
nationally, for each state?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
So,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I went to high school with her.
I did. I took her on a
We
date.
graduated with her.
Oh,
I did. I took her on a date. I didn't get a second date. It didn't go that well, obviously.
I won't lie. After you told me about that, I did. I texted her. I was like, so I heard you went on a date.
What'd she
my
say?
I was like, what are you talking about? What? She was like, in high school? I was like, yeah, I mean, obviously.
did you put her crown on?
Miss
too?
Mary-
Did she
Yeah.
remember me?
Yeah, of course she did.
Yeah. Hey, at
She's
least she
so
remembered
nice.
me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's married.
She's married.
You have a beautiful
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
I know.
we're all good. Yeah. That's just the pleasures and delights of living in the Flash Valley.
I know, it's very true.
Yeah, everyone
Accurate.
knows everyone.
We've all
Dated
gone on a date
someone.
with someone that we
Yeah.
know at some point.
Very
Yeah,
true.
it's
Unless
true.
you're as
Yeah.
lucky as Megan. And didn't you start dating Tanner when you were 20 or 19?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
20. I went through a couple before.
Okay.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Don't we all?
Funny. So, tell us more about your story here.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Okay.
In Kalispell, literally up the hill from Sunset Plaza. At
Fancy.
originally Kalispell Regional. I have lived here my whole life, other than a short little stint where I left for college. But I came right back as soon in 2020. So,
And what made you want to run for Miss Montana?
yeah. So I actually, I'm one of the few lucky gals who have been both the teen and Miss title holder in
wow.
the Illinois system. Yeah. So that's actually how I know Katie. She was Miss Montana USA when I was Miss Montana Teen USA.
Okay.
Oh, very cool.
It doesn't happen very often that your Miss and Teen live in the same community, but we got to spend the whole year together and just be super close friends. But my I guess that's kind of where it starts. Is I was a junior in high school at Glacier High School, and I had never thought about doing pageants or anything in this world. I wasn't very into fashion, or I didn't wear heels or a lot of makeup, or I didn't know how to curl my hair. I definitely didn't know how to walk in heels. It's very important to know. It's kind of a big
I could
part of doing
never.
pageant.
Yeah,
Good for you.
That'd be a reason.
Yeah,
I
but I had just gotten cut from the volleyball team, and I was devastated. And I was looking for something else to do, and I don't know how or why, but I got a letter in the mail from the Miss Montana Teen USA organization asking if I wanted to sign up for the competition. That was a month away. So I, on a whim, decided I would do it, which doesn't make any sense at all. I had no idea why. That seemed like a good idea, but I got ready, didn't know what I was doing, just grabbed whatever I could, went on a little trip to Spokane to get a dress, and showed up at the competition in Missoula, and I was fortunate enough to place in the top 5 that year.
Wow.
Montana's a great state for people who've never done pageants before. It's very it's very fun, it's very inviting. It's not super competitive, so it's a good spot to start out, but I was totally hooked right away. This particular year, 2013, we had the immense delight of having a former Miss USA as one of our judges, and her husband at the time was on a popular TV show, and we had a production team that came in from Texas, and it was just the perfect first pageant experience to just see what the whole world had to offer. And I was totally hooked. I loved being on stage. I loved the interview. Which makes sense. I was in DECA and BPA and speech and debate in high school. So that came more naturally to me, but I just, loved it. And
That's
I
awesome.
got a coach for the next year, came back. Katie and I were in the same coaching program, and so we kind of knew each other going into the competition. We had a few people who were in our group getting coached with the same kind of ladies, and I was fortunate enough to win Miss Montana Teen 2014.
So you just went back the next year and won the whole thing?
Yeah.
After
Good for
deciding
you.
on a whim? That's
Done.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She said she was competitive when we were off camera.
That's
Good for you.
I just, it sounded really fun. I've always loved Montana. I really like public speaking. I really liked a lot of the service aspects of being in the pageant world, and really, like you said, we all grew up watching it, and it was pretty crazy to be oh wait, I can be one of those girls. I can go to Miss Teen
Especially
USA,
living in little Montana.
Yeah.
Now it's not so little, but
Yeah, exactly. It totally changed my life 100%. I don't think I would have left the state to go to college in Virginia. I don't think I would have gone for a lot of the opportunities that I've gone for had I not taken this crazy little leap of faith to see if
gave you confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. It 100% changed my confidence. The person that I was before I started doing pageants. I don't know. It's so crazy to think about how much my life has changed, and how much that has
How
made
good
an
you've
impact.
gotten in walking in heels.
So good at walking in heels. It's unbelievable.
I watched you.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, we do get lessons.
gosh.
We have coaches for walking
Oh my gosh.
specifically.
Yeah, that totally makes
Very
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, what was your talent? Because you always have to, we were talking about this before.
That's what I was going to ask.
So what are the components you do, walking or what are the different things you that help you win, I guess?
Totally.
And what was your talent?
Yeah.
I was wondering.
So super funny. The USA system doesn't have a talent portion at all. So
Really?
So
I don't
this
know the
isn't-
talent.
Miss USA,
So
why is that?
What about Miss
I know,
Congeniality? That's the only thing I have to reference it to.
We were talking about
I was just waiting for the first time you brought that movie up.
That's about on track. That's about as long as people can usually make it before Miss Congeniality.
You literally looked at your watch.
I know, the fake watch. Look,
The fake watch.
Yeah.
Oh, about
On schedule. Yeah. 15 minutes in. Perfect. So USA system doesn't have talent, but Miss America does. So they're kind of, I would say, the other main two pageant systems.
There's two different.
I did not
They're
know that.
different. They're different.
So Miss
Yeah.
America
Miss
and
America-
Miss USA is different?
Absolutely. 100% different
Learned
organizations.
something totally new today.
Yeah.
So Miss America is the one with the talent show.
Yes.
USA.
Is that the
Correct.
Donald Trump sponsored
No.
one? No.
Miss USA was the Donald
Was
Trump
Donald Trump
sponsor.
sponsored?
Yeah,
Okay.
he
All right.
left the pageant in 2015 when
Okay.
he
Oh.
announced his
Probably
campaign.
a good idea when you announced it.
Yeah. So the phases of competition in the
Yeah.
USA world are activewear or swimsuit. They switched when I was competing as a
so you
teen.
do
It was
either.
always swimsuit.
Yeah.
It was swim in both divisions, but they switched to doing an activewear competition for the teens in 2016, and then we do evening gown and then interview. And so the big difference for interview between preliminaries and finals is that your prelim interview is off stage, one-on-one with your judging panel, or whatever, 4-on-1, 5-on-1 with the judging panel, but it's not an audience thing. None of the other contestants see you doing your interview, and so for a lot of people, that's where like the big surprises in competition usually come in, because you don't know how they're representing themselves to the judges beforehand. You've only seen their stage performance, and then when you get to finals, the interview moves to on stage. And that's where you get like the intense final questions and yeah.
Crazy.
I can't imagine. I could never do a lot of pressure.
Like,
I would just stutter and oh man.
Yeah. I mean, it happens to everybody. Like, you can just, I don't know. Some days it's just not your day and you're going to stumble through your answers.
Sure.
you have
Or
like
others you feel confident and just like say the perfect thing probably.
Yeah. My state,
No, you're fine.
my state answer was like that. There was like a little bit of a snag with like the judging tabulation system. And so when for state this year, we had top 10 compete in swim and evening. And then they were going to do, like, while the top 10 was standing on stage, they were going to call top 5 and you were going to answer your question like with all of the other people still on stage. Sometimes they'll do it like they'll call top 5, you'll get to see them, everyone will get cleared from stage, and then they'll start questions. But we were waiting in the top 10 spots for the judging envelope to come to like see who top 5 was, and it just like took too long, and so they put us on break and we like got to step off stage and sit down for a minute. And while I was off stage, I don't know if I'm going to make top 5. I'm feeling good, but I don't know if I'm going to make top 5. This is my first year competing in the Miss division. And I really didn't think that I was going to win this year. I thought I was going to do the same thing I did as a teen, come back.
Sure. Yeah.
Have a fun time the first year, get hooked again, and then like come back like serious with coaches the next year. But as I was off stage waiting for us to get called back on and get top 5 called, I just had this like really clear thought that they were going to ask me about gun control. Like I just like out of nowhere, I was like, they're going to ask me about gun control. I'm making top 5 and I'm going to get asked about this in Lewistown, Montana. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, that's what, anyway. So get called back. I get called in the top 5. My question's about gun control.
Oh my goodness.
They asked me, there was like a shooting in Texas the day before, and
oh my gosh.
they asked if there needs to be something done about gun control and gun crisis in America. So, sometimes you get really lucky and there's like,
What was
just
your
like a-
Yeah, what was your answer?
oh yeah, you want me to go into that? Okay.
What did you try to push?
Yeah, exactly.
Try how you felt.
Yeah. I think I like started with making a joke, like thanks for, because the judges were the ones that asked the questions. You pulled like a judge's number and then they would read the question to you. And so I think I like laughed and asked the guy like, thanks for giving me the like hardest question to answer in Montana on a stage. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was good. But I think that I talked about how I don't think that our kids, that as people, as citizens, we should have to go to events like this, go to a concert, go to our schools and feel scared that something could happen to us or our loved ones. I think that there's a way for us to be responsible gun owners, like so much of Montana is, and also figure out a way to keep people more safe.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, the pageant answers, like, they want to hear your thoughts and they want you to have an opinion, but it still has to be fairly, like,
can't be like super divisive
palatable.
or
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
it's fun.
Yeah. Do they ask you multiple questions or is it just
one
Oh, wow.
this year, but they can change the format basically whenever they want to. So some years you'll see people get asked multiple questions, and the last few years for like Miss Universe and USA, they've done like everyone in top 5 gets a different question like from the judges, and then they've done a top 3 break, and the top 3 will all answer the same question, so you can get like a difference between their presentation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I only got asked one question on stage.
Yeah, just the hardest one.
Yeah. Actually, all of top 5 got super
Really tough
hard
questions.
questions this
Oh,
year.
gosh.
Yeah.
Very
It was a
controversial.
tough year for the Montana
Controversial.
With
on-stage
everything going
questions.
on.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
A lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We had
do you
questions
have-
about like charter school funding, questions about abortion, what the definition of
man.
a
Oh,
woman
my gosh.
is, and yeah, it was very intense.
I don't know. For Montana, you might have got maybe an easier one.
I know, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Everyone killed it. It was like the craziest. It pretty often you'll watch a pageant and somebody in the top 5 will just not do well. They'll
like,
stumble over their
yeah.
words.
Yeah.
They don't know what to say. They haven't done enough research or whatever. And this year we just had like outstanding answers from everyone. It was like, how are the judges going to pick somebody? It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made me proud.
How-
Yeah, no kidding.
Do you have like a ritual or anything beforehand to calm your nerves?
Yeah, I do actually. When I started competing as a teen, my aunt gave me great advice. So every time that I'm on stage and I'm starting to like panic or like get overwhelmed, I wiggle my toes. And it just like brings me back into my body and makes me be like, okay, it's not that serious. Like,
Did we all just
it's a
wiggle
big
our
thing.
toes right
Yeah,
now?
I did. Yeah.
I was like,
You guys, it's a great hack. It's so
But
good.
even in yoga, actually, they teach you
Yeah.
like to wiggle your toes to come back to your
It's like
center and
grounding
to
yourself.
ground yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
totally.
it makes
It
sense.
really helps.
yeah, it does help a lot.
But I did wiggle my toes.
yeah.
yeah.
She's like,
We're all
yeah,
gonna
that's
do that
right
now.
on cue. As soon as I say it.
Here we are. Check it off. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
So now that you won Miss Montana, can you run again from now? Okay.
Not in the USA system. I could, in
Okay.
theory, switch over to America and see what happens over there. There are several other pageant systems. Those are the 2 like kind of big ones that have been on TV in the past. But there's another like Miss Montana Volunteer. There's Miss Montana for America Strong, and like there's a couple others. So if I wanted to keep going, there's definitely options for that. But haven't made my decisions yet. We'll
Very
see.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very. Let's take a quick break here.
Valley Vista Properties is a full-service property management company located in Kalispell, Montana. We manage long-term residential rentals, short-term and vacation rentals, commercial property, and homeowners associations. Our service area includes the greater Kalispell area, including Whitefish, Columbia Falls, Big Fork, Lakeside, Summers, and Kyla. Our owners have a combined 50 years of experience in property management, including a licensed real estate attorney and an IREM accredited residential manager. We're currently growing our portfolio in the Flathead Valley, and we would love the opportunity to serve you.
Your plan now, you've won, you've got a lot of accomplishment, and what I feel like this does a lot for you in the business world. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have been at my job. I actually worked full time the whole time I've been Miss Montana.
Oh
so
my gosh.
yeah, it's been fun. It's been busy. Yeah. So I haven't got to do as much like travel around the state and be like big Miss Montana, but that means I've got to spend a lot of time in the Flathead Valley.
That's awesome.
Meeting people and hanging out. So that's been really cool. But my full-time job is at the Glacier Institute. I started last January there as the marketing manager. And so it's been awesome to get to kind of double dip a little bit and promote being Miss Montana and all of the things that I like to focus on there, but it's given me the ability to also use the Glacier Institute as part of my platform as Miss Montana and get to talk about access to the outdoors and bringing kids outside and getting to be a kid that got to go to Big Creek and talking about why it's important to make sure that that facility gets upgraded and can last for the next 40 years. And it's been really cool. So I actually, the big announcement for you all, it's on LinkedIn, but I haven't made like a public announcement yet, but,
we get to be the first.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Right here.
yeah, exclusive. The week after I got back from Miss USA and started back up at the Institute, I got asked to be our director of development. So I'm switching over to fundraising world, which is
Awesome.
Yeah. The idea that
appropriate.
I have been, being able to be Miss Montana, staying in my full-time job, maybe feeling like maybe I'm not getting everything done in both worlds all the time. But yeah, to end up with a promotion and a really exciting one and a big responsibility for our program, it wasn't what I was expecting post Miss USA, but it was a big win for me. And I'm just excited to see what else comes from it. It's crazy. It feels like, I got crowned in May of 2023, and it feels like I've lived like 5 lives
Bunch
already.
of years in those few months.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm glad you got to tell us here. That's very cool.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So the rest of the year kind of looks the same that it has. I'll be keeping up at work, going to appearances in the evenings on the weekends, and I'm hoping to, do some appreciation of the people who have sponsored me this year and all of the businesses and individuals who have been so generous with making sure that I can get to Miss USA and that everything goes smoothly and I didn't have to like cut any corners and got to have the full experience. That's kind of my big plan for the rest of the year.
It's been fun too to watch all the different local businesses and stuff sponsor you over the last year. And you did a really good job of that on Instagram and Facebook. And
You did a very good job with the marketing aspect of it.
For sure.
I was like, okay. I'm like, this is like a job in itself. It's like a marketing job to win those votes and like build that public awareness.
Yeah, it is. It's great professional development. It's like a really crazy way of getting into it. And I think I've had to do a lot of interesting like reckoning with the fact that nobody really sees it as professional development because it's packaged for like women and it's about beauty and like and it's easy to kind of think that it's really silly and fluffy and that it doesn't matter and you're not gaining any like real skills, but it's like immensely transferable. I've been able to grow our sponsorship list by like double this year just by putting in some effort and asking people that I already know, people I already had relationships with to pitch in and to help out. And I'm excited to leave the organization better than I found it and make sure that the next Miss Montanas are set up for success. I think going from being a teen title holder to a Miss title holder, I had a really clear idea of the challenges that were going to be there and the things that I knew that I wanted to have in my teen year that I didn't. And to be able to like come back to the system 10 years later with so much gratitude for everything that it's given me and the ways that it's changed and impacted my life and the skills that it gave me. And then to put those to use to make sure that I have a great year, but also that upcoming girls do too, has been really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you hold the crown until next August or September?
I think it's going to be April actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, there's a little bit up in the air in the USA world. They're in the process. We got a new national director, and so they're working on redoing the contracts with the state directors. So we're kind of in a weird little holding pattern at the moment. It's tentatively in April, but that's not It's not generally official yet, so I'm gonna stay as long until they kick me out.
Take it away.
Yeah, exactly. The crown. Yeah, I do get to keep the crown. That's
you get to keep it.
That's good. Okay.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Sash I get to keep.
That's
crown
so cool.
I get to keep. Get to keep all of my wardrobe. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I was going to ask you that too, because that was my funnest thing to watch you do when you got to go shopping. And do your dresses and stuff. That was fun.
Do you have like a full inventory now of all that? Because you get all that given to you, right?
Well, it's sponsored.
Or it's sponsored, yeah.
Technically from that business.
Yeah. So yes, I do have like a pretty decent inventory. I think, it really depends on the state and yourself of how much you get sponsored. A lot of people are just fully fronting all of the costs, buying their own wardrobe, spending their own money on their like nationals gowns. A lot of that is kind of, unfortunately it's not standardized, it's not equal. And a lot of people don't know that when they get into it. And so I think especially coming from a state like Montana where it's not common to be competing in the pageant world. We end up with a lot of title holders who get in and they're like, oh my.
Yeah, they don't have the funding.
Exactly.
They got to fundraise to get the.
And that's the
you
other.
got to fundraise and you have to know how to fundraise and you have to like feel confident in that world. I feel so fortunate that is true for me. But yeah.
That part looks like fluffy too, but you actually worked for those and those businesses are attaching them to your reputation and everything. And so it's a big deal.
Totally.
That you got
today.
Everything that you got.
Today I'm wearing an outfit for one of my sponsors from Dillard's down in Missoula. They're the best.
Nice.
They are, it's unreal. You guys, speaking of cool grandmas. Oh my gosh. My grandma lives in Missoula. She always has. She ran the Value Inn Motel, which was right next to the mall. It's been demoed tragically. We're very sad about it still, but she just has like tons of contacts and connections in Missoula, and I got the title, and we're trying to figure out like as a family collectively how we're gonna swing all of this, and we know how expensive it's going to be, but also inflation's real, so it's more expensive than we think it's going to be. And so one day she goes, Mady, she called me up. She calls me all the time. I love her. She called me up and she goes, Mady, how would you feel if I went over to Dillard's and asked them if they would want to be one of your sponsors? And I said, Grandma, go ahead. Like, yes, that sounds great. Go for it.
I love this grandma. She's good at asking people for money.
She is great at it. She's getting on my fundraising committee at this.
I know. I was like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You did a good job too.
Yeah. So she marched in, asked to be with the manager, and worked out. The initial sponsorship was 5 outfits. Shoes and accessories included from anywhere in the store.
Wow.
Anything I wanted. They brought me in like before the store opened, by a couple hours, and I got like a private shopping experience, which was so crazy.
That's so cool.
Didn't they give you like suitcases too?
I know.
I was gonna say it's like every little girl's like movie
I did not
moment.
get suitcases.
Why did I think that? I don't know.
I took a picture with my suitcase.
Oh, that's probably why. Okay.
But and then every time that I'm in Missoula, I'll stop by the store and say hi, say thank you, and I always leave with more outfits. Like they're like, oh, just take this one too, and just post about it.
Oh my
God!
So okay.
You know,
yeah, exactly. I think
I could use a pair of dress shoes. I wear 10 and a half.
Oh my gosh!
Add it to the list. Yeah. We'll get you a sponsorship. We'll get the podcast sponsored.
There you go. Dillard's.
Dillard's.
Oh my goodness.
I do like Dillard's. We got our shoes from Dillard's.
I love Dillard's.
Yeah. Honestly, it had always been our favorite store, and like my grandma spent a lot of money at Dillard's over the years, so it worked out well for them. But I was down there last weekend. They have this like cool program called the Campus Collective that Dillard's has rolled out like nationwide. But most of the programs are in the South, which makes sense. And they have like local college girls who run a social media account and like highlight some of the outfits, and they host like a shopping event or whatever. So the girls had DM'd me on Instagram and said, will you come down to our event? And I said, sure. I'm coming for the game anyway.
Heck yeah.
And so I swung
for the right team.
Exactly. Have to be. I swung by and they gave me another outfit. Those crazy girls. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah,
That's cool.
Heck yeah.
Super spoiled by that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I already tried to recruit her too. She was good at. I'm like, I saw the translation of the PR and everything, and I'm like, you'd be a great realtor. And I tried to recruit you at the grand event, and she turned me down. She's like, no, I'm not getting a license, Mark. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Yeah.
But if you ever do,
Yeah.
If you change your mind, yeah.
no, you have a great thing going. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, but I mean, great industry that you guys are in.
It's fun.
Busy around here.
It's
You don't
fun.
get to wear a crown in this industry, but
Yeah.
Some of
Mark
us
would
think
like
we
us
do,
to.
but yeah.
We'll get a lot of shade
King
if we
Mark.
did, I think.
King Mark.
oh my
Oh, here we go.
it's like the Lord.
Don't give him any ideas.
I was watching American Beauty the other night.
That is not a good reference at all.
That was the realtor in there. His Jaguar had said R.E. King.
Oh no.
You were
You know
inspired.
how much-
You're like, let me check with the DMV.
Yeah, is R.E. King available?
You know how much hate you'd get for that?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not doing
We're
it. I
gonna
don't put
get
any.
Yeah.
I don't put any
your golf
logos on my
cart.
truck. I don't do any of that stuff.
He just puts it on his golf cart.
Well, yeah, the golf cart.
The golf cart's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's good.
Well, is there? I know we're probably wrapping up here, but is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh, anything.
Anything?
I mean, I feel like, what were we talking about before we hopped on? Like just pageant gossip, pageant like randomness.
Yeah.
That Mark and every little girl wants to wear your crown.
True, yes,
So
yeah.
that's what.
I'm definitely gonna. I'll try the
Everyone
crown
does.
on
Yeah,
again.
you can,
Yep.
for sure, always.
I got so many that picture that we put on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's so many people
even
messaging
see
me.
it.
It was so
Incredible.
funny.
That was funny.
What were the messages you were getting?
Oh, it was just like laughing at my expense, of course, but
It's always a good time to make fun of Mark.
This-
You can't tell.
I take it very well if you haven't noticed. Yeah.
You do.
He can take it better than anyone I know. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
every
But be
once in a
careful
while-
because eventually I will
He'll
dish it
back
out and I
out.
come for you and it's like,
Yeah.
oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I'm
true.
It's like
scared.
not
He's come for
fun.
us a few
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
fun to not be able to dish it back. Like you gotta.
Yeah.
If
That's
you're
what I'm
giving it, you gotta
saying.
take it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
It's
sure.
totally true.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, me and Megan will be like, "Oh crap, did we hurt his feelings?" And he's like, "No."
Well, that's a no. Like, it's Mark.
Yeah.
My feelings do get hurt, I promise. They're there,
Disclosure.
but it's pretty
It's pretty rare.
it's pretty rare.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we were talking about how you can't have a public relationship, right? you
Oh,
can't have
yeah,
a boyfriend.
yeah,
You can't.
yeah.
Well, you couldn't be married, but you
Oh.
could be married recently,
Yeah. So yeah, the rule changed around marriage recently.
which makes sense because it's Miss, not
Yeah.
Miss.
Yeah.
So,
It-
That's
it
what
does-
Universe is, right? Is married.
Yeah, so the Miss USA and Miss Universe are all in the same organization. So the way to get to Miss Universe, if you live in the United States, is to win a state title, go to Miss USA, win Miss USA, and then you get to go to Miss Universe. So if the rules change at Miss Universe, then the rules change all the way down the line too.
Wow.
So a lot of big changes this year. We had the change for marriage and having kids. So you can both be married, you can have kids, you could be unmarried with kids.
Wow.
And then the other like big, massive change that came out like right beforehand. So it wasn't affected by my year. My rules are still, you have to be 18 to 28 to compete in the Miss division. But now they took off the end cap. So you could be, for example, you could be like 60 years old and compete in the
No way.
Miss
Oh, that's
Montana
interesting.
USA state competition.
Who
this year.
knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's, it's
I
like,
just didn't realize
It
like
just,
how
like,
many
really
rules
opened
you
the-
have
like
to remember.
Golden
and-
Bachelor is now like
Exactly.
Golden
Yeah.
Miss.
Yeah, we'll see.
Cougars are coming out.
Yeah. I don't think that's probably what's going to happen. I think it's
No.
going to be like, I don't know.
But I mean, if you're
I have
girls
doubts
up into their 40s
or
or
40,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that for
Yeah.
sure.
Which I think,
not?
you know, why not? It's
Yeah.
not like Miss USA has to be under 30. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of silly. There's so many women who do cool things at any age. So
That's true. Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see like how it changes the competition and what happens. But I think as a realist, I think it's going to look a lot the same that it always has. And I think you'll get a few people who are like just outside of the like normal age boundaries of the pageant. And I think probably we're still going to see title holders that are within the existing age boundary, unfortunately. But who knows? We had our first married Miss USA contestant. Miss Maine USA this year is married. And
first ever.
Yeah, first ever. And then at Miss Universe this year, we had several married women, several moms. Miss Guatemala, I think, has like 3 kids, and she's incredible. It's cool to see the pageant kind of moving forward and making some changes. I think, it's interesting. Everyone's trying to figure out like what the place of Miss USA and the place of the pageant world is as times change, as society changes, as we're like thinking of women in different ways. And I think it's a big challenge to adapt to the times and to make your organization relevant. And those are some of the changes that they've made, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Well, thank you for...
Everyone's looking at me for a question. Did you meet people like Miss Guatemala? Did you meet people?
I didn't meet any of the international gals, but I know all of the state title holders.
Okay.
We do the way that the Miss USA competition works is we check in. Our check-in was on like the 22nd of September or something, 21st, 22nd. And the first 4 days is mostly working with the production team and preparing all of like the B-roll shots for the national broadcast. That's most of what you're doing. And then you spend a little bit of time in rehearsals. We actually didn't get to be on stage until we were in a live competition. This year we did a state costume competition. So all of our rehearsals was just like in a hotel conference room with a taped off like stage layout. Oh, so we didn't know what it was like on carpet. We didn't know what the like actual stage platform was going to feel like, or like how big the steps were until like it was live in front of the judges. It was just crazy.
Yeah, it's scary.
But yeah, so the first half of the week you're mostly just like hanging out with the girls, going on different like location shooting, doing some stuff around the resort property. And so you get a lot of time to chat and meet each other and hang out, form some relationships. And then the second half of the week is when competition starts. So we had our offstage interview with the judges, state costume competition, prelims, and then finals day. And so the last 4 days are pretty intense, and we have a lot of time where you're like actively preparing for a phase of competition, and so you're not really spending a lot of time with the other delegates. But yeah.
What did your state costume look like?
Ooh, I love my state costume. So the state costume competition is all of the delegates get to come up with something that represents their state or them as an individual. Some people will choose to do like Miss North Dakota. It was the first Black Miss North Dakota, and she wore like a traditional African tribal kind of costume. Yeah.
Very cool.
And she carried like a bundle of wheat to still kind of honor North Dakota and their state. I
like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Cool. Very cool.
So there's a big range of what people are wearing, but I worked with a local designer. Her name's Beth Feeney. She owns Redheaded Designs, and she and I dreamt up from scratch a big sky themed costume. So it had a big cape that had like a night sky scene on the back, and then a like blue dress that I wore, and then like a star headpiece. I think realistically my costume was pretty simple compared to a lot of the other girls. Like a lot of other people have like big, like Mardi Gras level, massive costumes that are super heavy and like just really elaborate. And so mine was pretty simple compared to that, but I loved it. And it was like totally what I wanted it to be. And the night sky, speaking of that trampoline from earlier, we spent a lot of the time that I spent on my trampoline as a kid was just like sleeping out there at night.
Totally.
So my dad and my sister and I would like spend a lot of nights on the trampoline watching the stars and making sure there wasn't like a meteor shower going on or whatever. And so I got to put in some constellations that were important to me. And
that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a really fun time putting that one together. So that was fun. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, can I try that crown back on?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Let's do it.
We're at that point.
that.
We're at that point. It's time.
Time.
Oh, this is the thumbnail. Oh, see, my head's a little big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't stretch your crown out.
It's adjustable. It's adjustable. Yeah. It
It's
moves
adjustable.
as far as you need it to. Yeah. Yeah.
Andy, do I look pretty sick?
Looking good. Yeah.
The RE King, everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You just stroked as you go a little
Hey,
bit
Megan.
more.
Say, Rosie, you're fired.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, you can have it back
Okay.
now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's funny. The crown's fun and I like it. I'm like, it's really pretty and it's fun to wear sometimes, but it's actually really heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
Like if
Yeah.
you
Pretty
kept
heavy.
that
Yeah,
on
it gives
all
it.
the time.
If I wear
Yeah.
it to an event, it's like I'm gonna get a headache.
I'm gonna have to go to the chiropractor
Totally,
after
I know.
this.
You are.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh my
hefty.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. that is-
So I don't.
yeah.
I like if I go to an appearance, I'm like very rarely wearing it unless somebody
Yeah.
like specifically asked me to. But it's always big pro tip if you ever become Miss Montana, you got to bring the crown even if you're not going to wear it because like somebody like Mark wants to see it or like you're going to run into little girls who want to try
Yes.
it on. Or
Every time that I
Little
was,
girls like Mark that want to try it on.
every time we were like
Hey, now.
confirming today, he's like, "Did you
Reminder to get
confirm,
the crown.
Maddie?" And
Is
did
the
you
crown
remember to bring the
coming?
crown?
He was very concerned about the crown being here.
And then when we
I
were
love
waiting
it.
for you to come today, I was like, I'm watching for, and he's like, "Did she bring the crown?" I'm like, yes.
yeah, it's in her hands. Yeah.
You know, I just really wanted to do that stunt. I'm all about
wanted
trying
to
to get
be
a laugh, you know, and like
Ari
It's a good
King.
bit.
the
It is a
perfect
good bit.
timed pictures and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Okay, one more piece of pageant lore for you, which is the state title holder crowns have like been this way for a while. They're nice, but they're not like real gemstones or anything. I don't think this thing has anything more than like sentimental value necessarily.
Yeah.
But the USA crowns and the Miss Universe crowns are extremely valuable.
Really?
So
And they're real?
They're real.
Wow.
Do you get to keep those, or do they pass down?
I don't think that they get to keep them. I think that they're owned by the jewelry company. It's like
Sure.
Mawad Diamonds is the big crown
Wow.
sponsor for us. And so they have their own security teams. They have like an official, real, like full value crown that's like a couple $1 million.
Wow.
That they only wear on stage during crowning. And
when
then
they're
they
being crowned,
have a replica crown that's like a couple $100,000 that they'll wear to events. But even that,
Wow.
like even the secondary
no
crown
idea.
has a security
Yeah.
team. Yeah.
That's-
That would be really heavy.
So if I was Miss USA, we probably couldn't have obliged me bringing the crown, but because
Yeah.
because I just a Miss Montana USA, I can do it for you.
Oh,
Still a
sweet.
big
Well,
deal.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, it's a huge deal. I mean, I'm like, it's silly. I really wanted to be the first Montana title holder to break our non-placement curse. We haven't placed since the 50s, but it's just it's a huge honor to get to be there and be among the women who get to compete there. Everyone is so cool. There's like astronauts, there's lawyers, there's there's people who have political ambitions, there's teachers. I mean, it's just a huge honor to get to be part of this group of women, and nobody else gets to be Miss Montana USA 2023. So
One of a kind.
yeah.
And what's a placeholder? Is it the top 10, or what is that what's considered a placeholder?
This year it was top 20,
Oh,
but
wow.
it changes every year too. So some years it's top 15, top 18,
yeah.
top 20, top 16. This year it was 20 as the finalists. So if we would have had the CW in Montana, we kind of call the placement group all the people who get to compete in finals. And yeah, this year it wasn't me, but that's okay.
That's okay. You still did a good job. We're
yeah.
still proud.
Yeah.
Montana's proud.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Well, we better wrap her up here, and it's been a real pleasure having you on.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, for sure.
It's been
So much.
fun.
Thank you.
It's been silly.
Been
It's
real.
been fun. I liked it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. Please share, subscribe, hit that like button. Let's get some more content going and more subscribers.